Miami handles Florida 26-7. Carson Beck is still the exact same quarterback that he was with the Georgia Bulldogs, but I will reserve my comments on that until we get into the start of this segment. Florida keeps it tough for Miami. DJ Lagway is still proving that he is one of the worst quarterbacks in the nation, and he is slowly ruining Billy Napier's non-existent legacy at the University of Florida. He is now 20-22 as a head coach. Take it away, Marcus.
I have 3 takeaways. I just want you to walk with me here. We go through one by one. For starters, Miami, Florida State. It's an ACC championship matchup. I think we're going to see it. First of all, Florida State smacked State around as to be expected. Dropped 66 today on that 775 yards of offense, and they had 498 rush yards as a school record. But Miami specifically, they're number 4, right? They beat on Florida tonight. They had 116 yards from Mark Fletcher. He had 2 rushing touchdowns. They're undefeated. And the great thing about this is we're going to get a taste of this in 2 weeks when they play each other on October 1st. But I do think that's the ACC championship matchup. Now, as for the Florida side of things, Billy Napier better thank the Lord above that it is week 4 and there's still a chance for him to save him job. But every game after this, he better pray to whatever God he believes in that they win. Because he is one more bad performance away from not being allowed to get back on the bus to go back to campus.
Straight up.
Here's a couple things for you. Okay. They are 1-3. The last time the Gators were 1-3 was 1986, nearly 40 years ago. Billy Napier is 20-22 overall. They're 0-2 in conference so far this season. They are 4-16 versus ranked teams under Billy Napier. They had 32 yards of offense in the first half, I believe it was, today. They still...
1 first down in the first half.
Yeah, they still have to play Texas, I believe, and they still have to play Georgia, I believe, at some point this season. So
Yep.
Billy Napier better hope to the Lord above that he has a job, not even next season, that he has a job by the end of this season. And as for DJ Lagway, I mean, I don't know what other way we need to say it. He needs to be benched. He completed 12 of 23 passes for 61 yards. You talk about an embarrassment for a Power 5 or I guess Group of 4 quarterback, right?
For an SEC quarterback.
For an SEC quarterback, 61 total yards. This was the fewest yards in a game by Florida since 1999. This is coming a week after DJ Lagway threw 5 interceptions, which was the most by a Florida quarterback since 1992. He has no touch on his deep balls. He can't read pressure, and he kills their drive. Their offense sucks, and there's too much talent on their offense for the offense to look as bad as it is. So if Billy Napier wants to keep his job, DJ Lagway needs to be benched. And if DJ Lagway doesn't want to be benched, he needs to learn how to play football. Neither of those two things are going to happen. So Billy Napier, bye-bye. DJ Lagway, bye-bye. I said this to you last night after Stuff About Sports. DJ Lagway, Arch Manning, 2 cheeks, same ass. That's all I'm saying.
That is so good. And it is so true. And it is so warranted at this moment for how they're both playing. Thankfully, Arch Manning can come out and be confusing and at least put up numbers against pedestrian teams. But, you know, DJ Lagway is a non-existent quarterback, really. DJ Lagway, every time he takes a snap and he has to process or go through his reads, which is processing, or extend the play, or stretch his vision down the field, which goes back to processing, which is the biggest thing a quarterback can do is understand the field and read the defense in front of them and understand the play that they're running. He looks confused. DJ Lagway looks nervous. He looks sloppy. There are no mechanics. There is no confidence. DJ Lagway he genuinely looks lost at the position. And I saw it multiple times, and I'm probably just being very picky, but it's even the way he holds the football. It's not for him. It's not for him. I'll say it right now. The Florida Gators have the worst head coach quarterback combination in football right now, probably for a notable team. Absolutely. Especially in the SEC.
Yeah.
You're not going to look at Arkansas, even though they just lost to Memphis today, and say that. You're not going to look at any of these other teams in the SEC and say that, because the quarterback play itself is demoting Billy Napier to a level that I don't even know if it's really undeserved, because Billy Napier has not been a good coach since he's been at Florida. This is the guy that's also calling plays. Okay.
And that's the part that I think needs to be understood. He's also the person calling the plays.
He is the one
Oh my
calling
gosh.
plays as well. He's the one choosing this quarterback, and he's the one calling the plays. You got to be held accountable.
And look,
Gotta
Holly
be.
Rowe did a nice piece at the beginning and pre-games, like, oh, they went out to dinner, no phones. There was some, and it was all great.
I
It's like,
heard that.
and it's like, look, love that for them, Holly. But here's the thing: this is the SEC.
Yep.
You
Yep.
can't.
There are no feel-good stories to make
no,
you
you
better.
can't
You have
throw
to
5 picks
actually
one
play
week
better.
and then not bounce back the next. If you're gonna have a bad game in the SEC, okay, hold on. If you have a bad game in the SEC, you have to bounce back the following week with a game back to just be on par.
Yep.
But DJ Lagway didn't have a bad game last week. DJ Lagway had the worst game by a Florida quarterback in 33 years. And then he followed that up with an offensive performance that was the worst in almost 30 years. So either next week he is a generational quarterback and he is the best quarterback in the
He can't
country
make it
next
to
week.
next week. Billy Napier cannot
Like,
allow him to
I
make
don't
it to next
understand,
week.
and that's the part that I don't understand is I get that he's a sophomore and he's young and you want him to learn, but this is the Southeastern Conference. Like, that's what this is. You don't have time to give DJ Lagway time to figure it out in game. Not when he's given you two of the worst consecutive weeks of quarterback play that we've ever seen in college from a Power 5 quarterback in either of our lifetimes, for sure. There's no possible way. There's no reasonable justification. And in fact, I will go as far as to say, if DJ Lagway trots onto the field their next game as the starting quarterback, then Florida's athletic director needs to tap Billy Napier on the shoulder, ask him to turn in his headset, and send him back to his office so he can box it up and go home.
Yeah.
There's no reason why DJ
I
Lagway should
think
be
booze
starting
will rain
another
down next week.
football game. Absolutely.
I will be shocked. I will be shocked. Genuinely. I didn't expect after one game for him to get benched, right? Because you got to let your quarterback sink. You got to let him suffer sometimes. I mean, we've seen it in the NFL.
Mhm.
But after this week, I don't know how back-to-back weeks like this can really be tolerated. I don't, man. I really don't. I really don't. And the Boos are going to rain down for the fan.
He's setting all the wrong records.
He
He's
is.
setting all the wrong records.
He is.
It's
He
ridiculous.
absolutely is. There was really this underlying expectation of Miami should handle Florida going into this game. And the final score and the way that I introduced the segment definitely sounds like they did. But this was a 13-7 game.
Yeah.
Or yeah. This was
It
a
was
13-7 game. This
until
was a
Miami, like,
13
blew it
nothing
open.
game.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was a 13-0 game in the fourth quarter. This was a 13-0 game at halftime. Miami did not score in the third quarter. Florida comes out and scores. This is a 13-7 ball game with 11 minutes to go in the fourth before Miami chews 7 minutes off the clock with Fletcher and the other monster running back that they have with their duo to be able to just take this game home for Miami. But, it's also a rivalry game, and Florida does have a good defense that stifled LSU and clearly was able to kind of hold Miami, to under wraps tonight. And it's an interconference matchup, too, that we were able to see, which ended up turning out very well. I thought it ended up being a worthy watching matchup, at least into the middle of the fourth quarter and really kind of towards the end, until Miami was able to pull away with it. But it was crazy how Miami started. They mounted a 15-play drive to open the game. They went 5 for 5 on third down on that opening drive. But then credit to Florida because Miami finished the first half 0 for 4 on third down after going 5 for 5 to open the drive. And I want to say Miami actually finished 8 for 16 in total in this game. So they literally went 3 for 13 the rest of the way on third down. And that's just a testament to what Florida's defense has been able to do all season long. And it was a question of, can Florida and DJ Lagway bounce back after an awful prior week? And it definitely did not look like it in the first half. It took until the fourth quarter for you to wonder if there was even an offense that was alive inside the brain of Billy Napier, or even capable coming from a quarterback in DJ Lagway. Florida was outgained by almost 200 yards in the first half. They were 0 for 7 on third down. They were 0 for 12 on the day. 0 for 13 on the day on third down. They did not convert a single third down in the game, but they were 3 for 3 on fourth down. They were perfect on fourth down. They were 3 for 6 on fourth down. Let me not give them the benefit of them being perfect. They were better on fourth down in times where they didn't have to go for it a few times, but the analytics said so. And Billy Napier is like, well, there's really probably all four down territory with this piss poor offense here. They were better on fourth down than they were on third down. They did not have a single conversion on probably the most important down in football. And clearly DJ Lagway is not good whatsoever, but on third down, it's even worse. 3 and out on 5 of the 6 drives for Florida in the first half. It was the fewest yards and a half since 2012, the 32 yards, and they had 1 first down. It's just very clear that the Florida Gators head football coach is not good. Billy Napier is not a good head coach, and he is not a good play caller right now. And he needs to look into either Tramel Jones Jr. or he needs to look into Harrison Bailey, as those are his QB2 and QB3 on his depth chart. Because when you are going to be rolling out a jittery, nervous, sloppy, rough decision-making quarterback in DJ Lagway, where it doesn't look like he knows what he's doing most of the time, you cannot expect the fan base or the athletic director to support you as the head coach. And y'all already know I'm going to come on here and have my comments about Carson Beck because I told you about him earlier in the day. Look at Carson Beck struggling against an SEC defense. What would you know? What would you know? That brother went to the ACC and didn't think he's going to have to come back and see an SEC defense. But what would you know?
Yeah.
Carson Beck played like the same quarterback he did last year with the Bulldogs when he had to play against top-tier defenses. He threw 3 interceptions against Florida last year as a Bulldog. He had the stretch of 7, 8, 9 turnovers in 3 or 4 games between Alabama and Texas and all these other smash-mouth matchups. And he ran into the same type of buzzsaw tonight in Florida's defense. He just better be lucky that it wasn't a competent offense. And it's not like they were turning over Carson Beck a lot, right? It's not like they were stealing possessions from Miami's offense. But when you go and look at Carson Beck's stats from the game and how he played overall, he was 17 of 30 for 160 yards and 1 interception. Thank goodness for Mark Fletcher Jr., 24 for 116 and a tud. Thank goodness for Shamar Brown, 18 for 80 and 2 tuds.
Yeah.
You're welcome, Carson Beck, because we saw you. We saw what kind of quarterback you still are against an SEC defense. You can't hide from me. Yeah. You can't. We don't lie on here. We hold people accountable. You thought you were going to be able to go to the ACC and it was going to be all fun and games. And don't get me wrong, you're sporting a sexy 4-0 record. You're probably going to be, who knows, but with the way the rankings have been, maybe top 3 team now. You were number 4. But notice how there was that timely interception thrown by Carson Beck after Florida's first touchdown, which gave Florida all of the energy in this game for about 3 minutes until Billy Napier was given the responsibility of calling the plays and having DJ Lagway execute them, which we saw the atrocity all game. Billy Napier, again, has an albatross and DJ Lagway hanging around his neck. And it's just, it's horrible. It's horrible. But Carson Beck showed us that he is the exact same quarterback tonight that he was last year with the Georgia Bulldogs. The offense went stale, and his play was a big part in that. Florida started blanketing his receivers, and then he took a sack when a blitz came in at a key moment, which I thought was a great play call. We saw the offensive coordinator, Shannon Dawson, start getting conservative with these screenplays for Carson Beck because that's what Carson Beck needs and resorts to when defensive talent is heightened. And again, don't forget, this is the same Florida team mostly that Carson Beck threw 3 interceptions to last year when he was a Georgia Bulldog. But We saw Florida take all of 3 quarters. So shout out to Miami's defense. And also, it is an indictment on that Florida offense. We've talked about Napier and Lagway extensively here. You go on an 11-play, 80-yard touchdown drive, but in the whole first half, they had 22 plays for 32 yards and no points until they're finally able to get on the board. They're able to go 3 of 3 on third down up or on fourth down, up until they missed the last 3 on fourth down to finish out the game. Florida produced more yards in the third quarter than they did all of the first half, while you had Miami running 15 plays for less than 50 yards coming out of the second half. Before, obviously, in the fourth quarter, like I said, they chewed up 7 minutes of clock. They scored a touchdown. But a big kudos to Miami for just running the hell out of the football with Fletcher and Brown down the stretch. And that's how you win football games, man. That's how you win matchups like this when you are playing a rivalry team, when you're playing an SEC defense, and you just have to be able to absolutely take it home.